Hello and welcome along to the big show on the road. Today we're in Portadown. We're here at this fabulous brand new venue. This is called Outhaus, the season store. Everything you need for your garden, your conservatory. We'll find out more about the shop in a little while, but we've got some great guests joining us on the show, including star of The X Factor, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Dancing on Ice as well. Jake Quickenden is going to be joining us. Also car fanatic and racing driver Jodie Kidd will be with us. And we'll also have some great live music from The Rising with their brand new single. And Gary Duffy will be telling us all about his new music as well. Bernie Allen, a life coach, also joins us on the show. And I see him in the distance over there. James Murphy, top author as well, telling us about his series of crime novels. So that's all coming up on the big show this evening. Okay, my first guest on the big show is a lady who everybody needs in their life. We'll find out more about that in a second. She's got a book out called How to Succeed in Business and Life. And it's Bernie Allen. How are you?
I'm very good.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to this beautiful shop, by the way.
It's amazing.
Tell me the story. What happened when you first arrived here?
Well, I came into the town.
Yeah.
And I did my sat nav.
Yes.
And it brought me to the shop across the road, because
Right.
this is number 2.
Yes.
So they sent me over. Got to the door and I says, "Excuse me, I'm here for Robin." So Niall, or no, the other guy,
Yes.
he said to me, "Okay," so he brought me down. He says, "We've got robins on a stick. We've got robins you can set in your shoulder." And I looked and I went, "Oh, this poor child, he doesn't know I'm here for Robin." So I didn't say anything, and I said, "Oh, well, I'd be doing my interview over there." And he went, "Oh, were you not here to buy robins?" Oh, bless him, it was so funny.
Oh, what a great way to start the show. Last time we spoke, we were Zooming, and you just brought the book out.
Right.
Now, this book's gone crazy, hasn't it?
Yep, absolutely. And
Tell
the
us about
reason
it.
why it's went crazy was the bottom part, Robin, where it
Yes.
says, "What's holding you back?"
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's only 90 pages,
Right.
but it's like a little antidote to finding out what's holding you back.
Right.
And I coach and mentor people in business. And whenever you find out what's holding you back, when I was writing the book,
Yeah.
I didn't know I suffered from whenever.
Yes, yeah.
Whenever I do this, I'll write my book.
Yes.
Whenever I've more time, I'll write my book.
I keep making lists.
Yeah.
And lists. And lists
Yeah.
about lists. So that's holding me back.
And you would maybe be in the club. If only I didn't write lists, I would be able to do the things I want to do. So there's lots of little things in there
Yeah.
that people realise, get the aha moment. But unless somebody brings it to your attention, I didn't know I was in the Whenever Club.
Right, yes,
But
yeah.
unless somebody, there's the buts.
Yeah.
But you don't understand my circumstances. But you don't know what type of life I came from.
Yeah.
There's excusitis.
Yes,
And
yes.
excusitis is the worst.
Yeah.
Because you actually believe it yourself.
Right, okay. But seriously, Bernie, it's now the time to be setting up a business. We're just coming out of the pandemic. Things have been stressful for the past year. It's now the time to do it.
Why not?
Yeah.
That is my question. Somebody said, I had a client on last night and she said, "Oh, I'm so frightened and I'm so frightened." I said, "It'll never work." And she went, "Pardon?" I said, "Because that's the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
You're absolutely, you've already condemned it. So, I always believe you need EEP in everything. Excitement, enthusiasm and passion. Because people buy people
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. All right. You've suddenly become one of the country's leading business gurus, I suppose, and business advisors. And I see lots of other guys popping up online on social media and stuff, flying around in their private jets, hiring the big car for the day. Where's your private jet? Where's your big cars?
Look, Robin, I would do that too. Not a bother. Not a bother. Somebody gives me a car like that, I go, "Happy days, yes please, thank you very much." But what
Yeah.
I would do is, I'd step out of the car and say, "By the way, I hired that for the day." That's the difference in me and somebody else. Seriously.
That's what I found the first time that I spoke to you. There's no holding back.
No.
There's no holds barred with you.
No.
If you don't agree with something that I say, you're going to tell me that.
But why should I not?
Yeah.
Because, I truly believe to your own self be true. Because how can you be real to other people if you're false to yourself?
Yeah.
How can you, pretending and, letting on you're this or letting on you're that. They call me the no BS coach,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And I know why.
Yeah.
Because you hire me, you get stuff done.
Exactly,
And
yes.
if someone is not doing it, I say, "I'm sorry, I can't coach you."
Yeah.
And they go, "You're going to stop?" "Yep."
Yeah.
Because my reputation if you don't do good, you're not going to blame yourself. You're going to blame me.
Yeah.
Do you know? So yes, why not?
Things are going great for you at the moment, but it hasn't always been like that. You've had your hard times and struggles in business over the years too, haven't you?
Absolutely. And I left school at 16 years of age, and I didn't know I was dyslexic till I was 38.
Really?
Honest to goodness, I didn't know the difference in did and done and seen and saw. Until somebody says you didn't done anything, you did it, and I went, what? What are you talking about? I honestly didn't know, Robin. Now that I felt that I was stupid, and anybody listening in, they're not stupid, because if you're not taught something, how and under can you possibly know?
Yeah.
So and it was ahead of the education in the south of Ireland. I was on a train with them one time, and she apologised to me, and she says, "Please let me apologise to you for the education authority or whatever word she used let you down."
Yeah.
And I says, how did they let me down? She says, that you could go out into the world and not know there was a difference. And then that started making me feel, yeah, it's not my fault.
Yes. Yeah.
It's totally not my fault. So I then had to go on my journey of, if you wrote something down, I'd have to do it 5 times.
Yes. Yeah.
If you were researching something in Google, I'd have to do it 10 times.
Yeah.
If I was writing my book, you have no idea how many times that was edited. I can tell you the fun we had with that. But I didn't let it stop me. And then when I went into business, I used to run businesses for people, and I knew I had an entrepreneurial head on me. But then eventually I started working and building my own businesses. And I got into debt. I had a restaurant in a mall in Carrickfergus.
Right,
The
yes.
Night Ride Centre was going to be the mall of the future, and I'm down the bottom with my restaurant. Oh, brilliant. And the mall was a flop, so I couldn't do anything. So I was in debt for just on over £78,000 of debt.
Wow.
25 years ago.
Right. Okay.
That's like
yes.
scary stuff.
Definitely. Yes.
Scary
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to get out of the abyss, built myself, and I.
But it didn't stop you. That's the thing. You kept going.
Yes, and whenever I mentor people now, I didn't learn it out of a book.
Yeah.
I have 30 years experience, and when they say something, I go, I know exactly where you are right now. This is exactly where you need to go.
Yeah.
Don't be doing blah, 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 whatever. And I'm real proud of myself, to be quite honest with you.
And you should be,
I
yes.
really am proud of myself. Well done me.
Yes,
But
yeah.
not in an egotistical sense of the word. But a lot of people don't give themselves that credibility. And then when I notice too, people try to bring you down, Robin, and it's not nice. Whenever I would go into a pit, who does she think she is? Or she forgets the shock she was born in, and all them type of things.
Yeah.
And I actually feel sorry for people like that.
And in fact, we're going to be talking to Jake Quickenden from the X Factor on this show later on about online abuse and online trolls and things people have said to him as well. So it's not, is it?
No, it's not nice. But now I'm thankfully I'm so strong. It's like water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm just there to serve and help, and just happens to be my business.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But as I told you, I've been offline, doing stuff offline for over 25 years.
Yeah,
Then
you're used to standing in front of a big audience, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then obviously the pandemic strikes, and it's just you in your home talking to people through Zoom.
It's like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
Because my biggest audience was 11,500 people. And now I've got a Zoom screen, and I've still to be passionate, and I've still to be enthusiastic, and I'm going, this isn't working. And especially when you've got your pajamas on at the bottom, you don't have that oomph about you when you have your slippers on.
Exactly. Bernie, we could talk all day. There's a man waving his arms at me. The book is out now.
Yes.
What else have you got in the pipeline? Anything we should know about?
Well, for the last 24 months, I've been growing up my business, Powerhouse Academy, where people just go on to my online, bernieallen.com.
Yeah.
And I coach and mentor business people to find out what's holding them back.
There we go. You got to get the book. Everybody needs a Bernie Allen in their life.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today feels like the worst day of my life. Today I can't seem to get it right. I can't sleep. can't breathe. The words, they run away from me. Oh, you feel like a stranger to me now. I always could figure you out. And you had it all. And you had it all. You only saw what you needed to see. And it's clear now that you don't see me. Yeah, you had it all. Now you've got nothing at all. Today, I'll put everything on the line. Oh, today feels I'm running out of time. And I don't know what to say. Then I run and I'll stay away. Oh, you feel like a stranger to me now, and I always could figure you out. Yeah, you had it all. And you had it all. You only saw what you needed to see, and it's clear now that you don't see me. Yeah, you had it all. Oh, today it feels like could be the worst day. Today I can't seem to get it right, babe. I can't sleep with a stranger sleeping next to me. Oh, I can't breathe, 'cause you had it all. Oh, and you had it all. Oh, you only saw what you needed to see, and it's clear now that you don't see me. Yeah, you had it all. Oh, you've got nothing at all.
Great new song from The Rising, that's called You Had It On, and we'll have some more music a little bit later on from singer-songwriter Gary Duffy. Our next guest has become a household name after appearing on reality TV shows like The X Factor, Dancing on Ice, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and he's also been in Hollyoaks as well. He's currently raising awareness of mental health issues, and he believes himself that keeping in contact with his loved ones helped him through his own mental health struggles. I'm pleased to say Jake Quickenden joins us now on the line. Jake, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So Jake, you believe that staying in contact with your loved ones actually helped you through your own mental health issues, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's so important to stay connected and to open up and talk. And like, I've suffered with my anxiety for years now, and the way I deal with it is to talk and stay connected with friends and family, and any issues that arise, I kind of talk about them straight away. So they're not playing on my mind, and a problem halved, a problem solved, they say. So yeah, definitely, I think it's so important. New research by Thoughtful also showed that more than half of us have been worried about our friends and family over the last year, about their mental well-being. So just to message someone out of the blue or to send a card and just say nice words can really help them in a way.
Now, it's great that you're talking about this and highlighting your own issues, but people watching this might look at you and say, do you know what, he's a very successful guy, he's a good-looking guy, he couldn't possibly have any kind of issues, but this, sadly, could happen to anyone, couldn't it?
That's the thing, mental health is invisible and it can affect anyone and everyone. And no matter if you're a multi-billionaire flying around on private jets, or you're like me who does a few reality shows, like anybody can suffer with mental health. And you can still be confident, you can still be out there, you can still like to do all the things you like to do, but it's just a little bit more of a struggle. And when people know that, and when people know that it doesn't kind of discriminate against anyone, anybody can suffer from it, I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing to let young lads and young girls know that if they're suffering, there's other people out there similar. So that's why I always try and talk about it. I don't feel ashamed that sometimes I feel a little bit low. So definitely, if I can help one person by kind of opening up about that, then my job's done.
Now, for a lot of young people, these issues can stem from things that are happening online. I'm thinking about online trolling and stuff like that. You yourself have been a victim of online abuse, haven't you?
Yeah, I feel like when you kind of get into TV, it's something that you've got to expect, which is really like crazy when you think about like you have to expect to be trolled. But it is kind of the norm now, and it's not easy. But when you kind of do the TV and the comments come through, you kind of get used to it, which is, again, it's such a weird thing to say. You get used to being hated on by people that don't know you. And it's not necessarily the people that are on TV, it's the people that young kids at school that might get online trolling. They're the people that we need to protect. They're the ones that will be much more vulnerable and much less likely to talk about it. So they're the ones you need to protect. And I think now I've come to an age and come to a realization that you just can't feed the fire. You've just got to ignore it and move on, because more often than not, these trolls are the ones that need a kind gesture to them.
And certainly over the past year, lots of young people, lots of teenagers have spent more time at home due to the pandemic. And in a way, they've kind of been kept prisoner in their bedrooms, haven't they? Yeah,
it's been really hard. And like you say, people have been stuck in the house. And what most people have kind of took to is social media. So unfortunately, there's been a lot more hate, I feel, out there on social media. And it affects everyone. So that's why we're just trying to combat it. You know how one kind of nasty comment can affect you and ruin your day. So if you can kind of counterbalance that and do one nice thing for somebody, then hopefully then that can change their mindset in that way, and they can feel really good about themselves and really positive about the day ahead.
So if you are concerned about a friend or a family member, the simple thing to do would just be pick up the phone, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course, the phone, drop them a message, just let them know that you're thinking of them. Like more often than not, even when we introduced ourselves, we both said, how are you doing? And we both said, yeah, absolutely fine. And I think that's what you always say. That's what you've kind of been programmed to say. But when you're talking to someone really close and you say, like, really, is everything all right? How are you? Maybe been a little bit quiet, or is there anything you want to talk about? And it's just about starting that conversation. And more often than not, when you get into that conversation, you kind of forget why you felt that way anyway, because you are talking to a friend and someone really close to you. So, yeah, it's just about staying connected, letting know people that you're there for them if they need you.
Let's talk about you. You've done lots of these reality TV shows, things like The X Factor, I'm a Celebrity, Dancing on Ice. There must be a lot of pressure on you during those shows.
Yeah, there's always pressure, but I'm very grateful. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just very grateful that I get these opportunities. I never expected when I went on The X Factor to still be doing what I'm doing now and still getting TV shows. So for me, there's a huge amount of gratefulness that I'm still here. And I think life's too short to be bitter, and life's also too short to not take these opportunities. It might end for me tomorrow and I'll never do a TV show again. So while they're there, I take them, and I kind of accept the fact that not everybody's going to like you. And that's just kind of human nature. You can't please everyone.
Looking ahead to the future, are there any more shows in the pipeline that we should know about? Any TV gigs coming up?
Yeah, I'll definitely be back on. I'm just waiting for the opportunity and somebody to ask me, and I'll snap their hands off. Don't you worry about that. But like I say, I just love it. I'm very lucky to kind of get that opportunity. So while it's there, I'm going to take it and roll with it.
Well, Jake, thank you so much for joining us on the show and being so open and honest with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, mate. Really appreciate it.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to meet now one of the men responsible for this fabulous shop. Neil, thank you so much for having us here today.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Day number one, this is the official opening, isn't it?
It sure is, yes.
So tell us about the brand and stuff, because you have one of these shops across the street, haven't you?
We do indeed, yes, we do. We opened this in September, and we started off with homeware, did some garden stuff, but we decided then as we grew, we needed more space and wanted something really different for the town and wanted to really focus on the outdoor living.
That's the great thing that's come out of the pandemic. Everybody wants to be outdoors. We've kind of turned into a nation of gardeners and DIY experts, haven't we?
Sure have.
So there's some fabulous stuff here. I see Mrs. E is floating around looking at stuff, and I know she's got her eye on this fabulous thing in front of me here. Tell us about this.
Okay, this is one of our fabulous outdoor seating dining areas. Fire pit, cold weather over here, you need some heat, so
yeah.
This works a treat, so it does.
All right, so if I was going to buy that today, it wouldn't fit in the back of the car for a start, but if I was, do I have to remortgage the house to buy this?
No, this one's priced at $18.95, really good price point on it. They're really high demand, so we're doing pre-orders on this at the moment.
Right.
So we are, and they're really popular, really comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's a lifetime piece.
And of course, with the summer coming up, everybody's going to be having the barbecues.
Yes,
so we'll hopefully be allowed more people in our back gardens again.
Definitely.
So that's the thing to have. Now,
that's one of the things to have.
I noticed earlier on, I think it's behind me, yes it is, the dragon.
The dragon.
This, for any fan of Harry Potter, they want this in their house, don't they?
They want the dragon.
Tell us about the dragon.
Okay, the dragon is bronze aluminium, so it's pretty sturdy. It's going to last all weathers. It's sculptured by a guy in England, and then we bring them in. So it's a really stunning piece. There's actually a larger dragon that I wanted.
Right.
It's a wee bit too big for the shop.
Bernie Allen earlier on was looking at robins.
She was.
So she was. Apparently there's loads. I haven't seen. Oh, they're there.
Little robins.
They're there. There's robins everywhere in the shop.
There's robins
isn't there?
everywhere.
If people maybe can't make it up to Portadown to see what you guys do, can they go online and have a look at stuff? Yeah.
We have our website and our app. So we have. So the website is outhausni.com, and you can download the app as well, and you can shop from home, and we deliver.
Brilliant. Okay, you've got 2 shops now.
We do.
Any plans for any more?
Not at the moment. I think two's good. So.
What about working through the pandemic in the last year? Has it been as difficult for you guys?
It has, yeah. But you know, I'm a real goer, so I just want to see things done and see things move on. And Thomas is the same. The two of us sort of just worked together and really just made it happen.
Yeah.
We just wanted something really different in the town for people to come and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, you've got that. I mean, the decor in here is as stunning as the pieces on display.
Thank you.
It really is. So thank you again for having us here today.
Pleasure.
And the very best of luck with it.
Thank you very much, Robin. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You're an amazing person, and you'll always handle whatever life throws at you.
You're doing so well. I'm so proud of you.
You're the bestest friend with the kindest heart.
I promise you'll get through this.
Thinking about 3 years ago when it all began. We went from friends to lovers. I didn't want this love to end. We traveled, we grew together. We knew we were each other's everything. But now there's nothing left for us, only tears that heartache brings. When all is said and done, I'll always love you, but I can never forget my trust in you, and I'll never forget. Did you ever really love me at all? Was our love just a game to you? Was it just another picture on your wall? I'll find somebody new. Got me crying over us. Was this your plan? Well, I'll come out of this a better man. Did you ever really love me at all? Was our love just a game to you? Was our love just a game to you? I'm voicing out just how I feel, waiting on you to say something real. Our memories will stay with me, locked up inside my heart, and we can't let things go. And in time we'll know that what we had has helped us grow. But it's hard to be pushed aside like the ebb and flow of the tide. When all is said and done, I'll always love you, but I can never forget. When all is said and done, I lost my trust in you, and I'll never forget. Did you ever really love me at all? Was our love just a game to you? Was it just another picture on your wall? I'll find somebody new. Got me crying over us. Was this your plan? Well, I'll come out of this a better man. Did you ever really love me at all? Was our love just a game to you? You said you loved me, you said you cared, and now I see that you're no longer there. You said you loved me, you said you cared, but now I know that you're no longer there. Did you ever really love me at all? Was our love just a game to you? Was it just another picture on your wall? I'll find somebody new. Got me crying over us. Was this your plan? Well, I'll come out of this a better man. Did you ever really love me at all? Was our love just a game to you?
That's a track called Did You Ever Really Love Me from Gary Duffy, and I'm pleased to say he joins us now here in Portadown today. Gary, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Robin, and the place is beautiful.
You've been shopping already. I know I've been watching you walking around, and I think by the end of today, your garden at home is going to look a million times better, isn't it?
Yes, it really is, but I'm going to have to go to the bank and ask for a couple of loans.
So what's caught your eye in here so far then?
The table behind us, there's a fire pit on the table, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really is stunning in here.
But ever since lockdowns happened and the pandemic started, people are starting to care more about how their garden looks, haven't they?
Yeah, 100%. I had a garden party a few weeks ago for the release of my new single.
Yeah.
And we decorated the garden, and because people, that's where they spend a lot of time in lockdown and stuff. So yeah, totally. I'm in here with the perfect place for it.
Yeah. You've been pretty busy. Recently, you've been recording away. We heard one of the songs there. First of all, tell us the story behind that song.
So that is my first single, and it's called Did You Ever Really Love Me? And I wrote that song about breaking up with an ex. And just when you go through, did that person ever really love me?
Yeah.
So for me, it was therapy, and it was my first one, and it was very personal to me. And you'll know that after watching the music video. It was very hard to film, but it just made me feel so much better, and now I can listen to the song and just be really happy. And that was the start of everything that's happened for me, so I'm very thankful to that person and to the song. So yeah, it's one of my favourite songs.
And does that person know the songs about them?
I'm sure he does.
So you're pretty new to the music scene. How did it all happen for you? Were you always into music and performing?
Yeah, for years I've been performing down in the Union Street in Kremlin, and been singing in other bars and doing private gigs, and always just did, covers and all that sort of stuff. And just before actually me and that person broke up, it was the plan to get the own music going, and then that all happened, and it just wasn't the right time, so I left it. And then 2020, just before the pandemic hit, we had recorded the first single, was getting ready to release it, and then the pandemic hit, but I still went ahead with it, and you know, it's done really well. I haven't let the pandemic stop me, and you know, you have to work hard, and that's what it is. If you want to do well and be successful, you have to work hard, and I'm all about it. So that's how my journey's kind of started.
So what about the process so far? Has it been difficult making that break from being maybe a pub singer to starting to release your own material and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Because it is so new to me. It's like, where do I start? What do I do? Who do I contact? But if anybody knows me, they'll know that I literally just don't give up. When I want something, I literally will bang down doors. And because it's been the pandemic, I've had to virtually bang down doors. So literally email after email to every single person that I could get email addresses for. And it has been difficult, but you know, from the first song, it didn't really get much radio play and things like that. Where now I'm on the third song, and I'm getting a lot of radio play and more traction. So I think that's the beauty of it. You just have to keep going and believe in yourself and not give up, and you know, the rewards and success will come.
There is a new song as well. We're going to hear the lyric video in a couple of minutes. Tell us about this song. What's the story behind this one?
So this one's called Afraid. You're going to see a pattern here. So basically it's about afraid to open up after you've been hurt and being in a relationship. And I think the beauty of my music and my lyrics is that everybody will be able to relate to them, because everybody's felt like this at one stage or another in their life. So it's about being afraid to move on, and you know, you maybe start dating somebody new and you're too terrified to think that it might end up, but it can't let you you can't let it stop you. So but it's the first one was a ballad. This third single is so upbeat, so dancey and so summery, and I did that on purpose because I knew when I was releasing it, we're coming into the summer and hopefully getting better weather. So it's a follow-up to my second single, which is called Going Nowhere, and it's another upbeat track as well, so you can check me out on all my social medias, Spotify, all that sort of stuff. So
Obviously as well, you'll be looking forward to, when all the restrictions lift, getting back out and performing live. Any plans for live gigs?
Yes, we did have a live gig planned at the Criminal Jail in Belfast, and unfortunately with restrictions and I parted way with my management team, we have had to cancel that gig, but I have something up my sleeve, and as soon as I'm allowed to, I'm going to rebook another date, and we're going to just do the most amazing performance and show for everybody, so I'm so excited.
Okay.
Can't wait to get out singing live again. That's where it's at, that's where my heart's at. Like, I love making music, and obviously it's only new to me, but that buzz of singing for a live audience, there's nothing that beats it.
What about long-term plans and ambitions? Where would you love to see yourself go?
What I want to do is be touring. You know, I want to go around the country and meet more people, more fans, and get myself introduced to them and their world and my music. Just, you know, it's still really surreal to me. I was picking my sister up the other night from work, and the song just came on the radio, and I was like, oh my god, that's me. It's still so surreal, and that buzz is still there. So ambitions is definitely touring, more music. I'm working on my next single at the minute. So I record with Black Studios, which is Jessica Hammond and Maddie Graham, and
got a good team there.
They're absolutely phenomenal. So really excited, and I was working with another local artist, Alice La, yesterday on a new cover that we're doing, and I actually cried at it last night listening to it. It's so beautiful, and we're going to release that next week. So just loads of music, but in the end, I want to be touring around the world. Why not?
Why not? Now, you've got your kind of own unique style, but who would have influenced you?
So I do have a lot of influences, but at the minute it's a lot of the Becky Hills. So I'm obsessed with Becky Hill. I think her vocals are out of this world, but she gives you lyrics that are relatable, but also really good dance music. So the way I like to describe that is, on a Saturday night you can hit the club and dance, but also on the Sunday when you're maybe worse for wear, you can listen to the lyrics and feel a type of way. So Becky Hill, but also your Adele's, and I love a good ballad. And I can't wait, because coming into the winter again, I'm going to release another ballad. The next one's going to be upbeat again, because we're still in the summer and all that. And then coming into the winter, I'm going to release another ballad, so I'm really excited for that as well. But that's the beauty of music, playing around with different sounds and different influences, so it's really exciting.
All right, we're going to hear the new single now. It's available right now,
Yes, it's out on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff, good stuff, so go and get it.
Okay, what I would love you to do is look into that camera and introduce your new song for us.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching, and this is my new song, and it's called Afraid by Gary Duffy.
everything of how you made me feel back then. Once I was your everything, and that turned into nothing at all. You said I would always be your number one, but that was a lie, and now we're done. This feeling's driving me insane. I can't go through all this pain. I'm afraid to fall in love again. This feeling's driving me insane. I can't go through all this pain. I'm afraid to fall in love. I'm afraid to fall. I'm afraid to love. You told me that this was us, and no one could break us up. Can't believe you do this to me. Had to pack my stuff and leave. You said I would always be your number one, but that was a lie, and now we're done. This feeling's driving me insane. I can't go through all this pain. I'm afraid to fall in love again. This feeling's driving me insane. I can't go through all this pain. I'm afraid to fall in love. I'm afraid to fall. I'm afraid to love. You are never number one, so don't come running back, 'cause it's too late, too late, too late, too late. Now you see me moving on, made my choice and that's a fact. Now it's too late, too late, too late. I'm afraid to fall. I'm afraid to love. I'm afraid to fall. I'm afraid to love. You said I would always be your number one, but that was a lie, and now we're done.
Okay, let's get another guest on, this time a lady who is a car fanatic and a racing driver. She's currently giving advice to people who are heading back out onto the road, of course. The roads are getting busy as the restrictions are lifting, and I'm pleased to say that Jodie Kidd joins us on the line. Jodie, how are you?
Very good. How are you, my lovely?
Very well, thank you. So tell us about this new research then. How many of us are actually concerned about returning to the roads then?
I mean, it's a lot more than I initially thought. So this is, I've been working alongside Co-op Insurance, and we've been doing a survey about how people are feeling about getting back on the roads after lockdown. And it was really quite surprising how high the percentages are of people that are very anxious, very nervous to get back out onto the roads. Like almost half the amount of women out there have got anxiety thinking about having to do to drive. And then I found extraordinary that 16 to 24-year-olds, it was at 64%. So they are the most anxious group to emerge from the pandemic, that say that they're really scared about driving on busier roads. So, you know, it was very, very interesting. So I've kind of teamed up with them, with Co-op Insurance, and I just want to give some advice and some helpful tips to help people, because obviously lockdown over there is going to be lifted quite soon. We're a little bit in front of you, but you know, in May we're going to be able to do our staycations, or is that how you say it? Stay vacations. But, you know, you might be driving to Devon or Cornwall or something, so you've got some big journeys in front of you, seeing your family or friends. And so I think the most important thing is the car that might be have sat there for a very long time. You see, cars are not meant to not be driven, so so the last thing you want to do is get in the car, be halfway on your journey, which is making you feel anxious anyway, and then something happens to the car. So make sure that all the maintenance is done on the car, make sure that the MOT is done. You might not have thought about checking that. The tires, you know, make sure you screen wash, all of those little bits that you can just kind of eliminate from your anxiety, so you can just concentrate on the driving. And then if you haven't driven for a long time, and you're nervous about doing this first big drive, I would start really small. So maybe just get a small little loop of familiar roads and just start getting your confidence by doing these small little journeys, and then you can very steadily get bigger and bigger and bigger. But the main thing is confidence is key. And also to other drivers out there that might be confident, it's really important for everyone to understand that people are feeling anxious. They are getting back onto the roads for the first time in a long time, and to be so much more considerate, conscious, and kinder on the road. So, you know, no beeping, no trying to do silly overtakes and things like that. So just to be much more considerate.
Now, what about you? Has the pandemic changed your attitude towards driving?
I live out in the sticks, so we've had to be driving to go and get our essential shopping. So we've been, you know, I have been behind the wheel throughout the whole pandemic. I mean, the roads have dramatically changed. It was so quiet, nobody on the roads during the really, you know, the big main lockdowns. But you can really see the changes now, and I can understand the you know, traffic jams are back, you know, rush hour is back, and that can be quite daunting, especially if your anxiety levels are so high because of what we've just gone through, that you've stared at the same four walls for the last year, that actually even just leaving your front door is daunting and scary. So just take it very slowly, just you know, give yourself time, and just to build that confidence back up.
So are you still racing driving these days then?
Obviously haven't been doing anything for a while, but yes, getting back into it. I'm just starting a car show. It starts next week, so it'll be great to get behind the wheel again. Yeah, I've got some races in kind of probably later on in the year that I'm going to be doing, so I can't wait. Yeah, very excited.
So what was it that originally got you into cars and racing driving then?
It would have to be but probably doing Top Gear. So I did a rally, I did a gumball rally with a bunch of friends, and I wasn't really driving, and it was just more for the kind of the crack. And so I came back to the UK. I sat on a table at an award ceremony, and I sat next to Jeremy Clarkson, and I was like, "Oh, you're the car man," and I did this rally in this car and that car, and he said, "Well, you know a bit about cars, come and do my show." And I don't think he expected me to turn up, and I did, and I went round the track, and I went top and beat everyone. And then I said, you know what, I really love driving quickly. And so I went off and got my provisional, which is called provisional racing license, which is called Gerard's, and ended up racing for Maserati for about 4 years. So yeah, it was kind of very organic. It just came out the blue.
Have you had any really scary moments on the track?
Lot, because when you want to win and you've got to be competitive, you've got to be on that edge, and the edge is, you know, pushing something to the edge. That makes sense. But you know, but like touching the envelope, that you're either off the track or you've done the fastest lap. So it's a very thin line. So you have to cross it quite a few times to understand where you are on that line.
Now you mentioned Top Gear there. Obviously the format and the presenters have changed a lot over the years. What do you think about the current lineup then?
I mean, I love the guys. They're all great, and I know them all individually. But I'm kind of like, I'm a pure petrol head, so I miss the main boys, because they were all, you know, journalists and were brilliant, and the chemistry was brilliant. But it's come a bit more kind of much more entertainment, whereas I'm just a petrol head, and I like you know, cars, and I like driving quickly, and you know, seeing all that side of things, which it's kind of gone away from.
Now, getting back to people being concerned about getting back out onto the road, you mentioned about making sure your car is up to date with the MOT and things like that, but it's also the paperwork you have to be concerned about as well, the things like your tax and insurance, isn't it?
Exactly, things that you would have just kind of thought, oh well, the last time I drove this was fine, but you know, we've been locked down for a very long time, and so it's really important to make sure car is dealt with, and then you can just concentrate on yourself, concentrate on you know, getting your confidence back up. And there's also there's something that Co-op have been doing, Co-op Insurance, and they've got T drivers, which is something that I would not have known about. So I'm kind of like spreading the word. So it means that it's a younger driver, and they have a T on the car. So you've got learner plates, you've got L, and this will be a T. And it basically means that that car has got a black box in it. And that means that they're being monitored, and it's got all the telematics. So it helps with the insurance of the younger drivers, but it also means that they're going to be really by abiding all the rules. So don't put pressure on them. Don't put pressure on learner drivers. Don't, you know, I think that's a real key thing, is for the good drivers, not that they're bad drivers, but you know, the more confident drivers out there, is just to be much more supportive, just while everyone is just kind of, you know, feeling getting back to normal, and putting the feelers out, and just getting back to that kind of the way we were before in 2019. And you know, it's been a really, really tough time for everyone, and I think we've just got to really be kinder.
So apart from the roads, how have you coped over the lockdown period?
The last lockdown I thought was really, really tough. You know, it was dark the whole time. The weather was miserable. You know, the people passing away was so high. The infection rate was so high. It was a very scary, scary place. And, you know, we didn't know if there was a way out of it. And, you know, I'm just very thankful that, you know, the inoculations have come along, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that we can slowly get back to seeing people and getting back to normal lives and work. And yeah, it's been very tough for everyone. And I think that's why we've got to be ultra conscious of taking care of each other, you know, really making an effort, being much kinder, but also being kinder to yourself. You know, it's really tested everyone, and we've just now got to realize how precious life is, and that, you know, something like this can really, really rock us all. And just to be kind is the most important thing.
Some great advice there, Jodie. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and let's hope we see you back in Belfast sometime soon.
I can't wait. Anyway, you keep safe, and yeah, sending you lots of love.
So Thomas, congratulations on the new shop. Day number 1, pretty busy. Things are going well.
Thank you, Robin. I really appreciate that, and great to see you.
It's great to be here today. So tell us a bit about the Outhaus brands, because you've got a shop across the street, you've got the new shop. How did all this come about?
Well, Robin, we were all in lockdown, feeling a bit miserable, and I have an interior design business in Portadown, and I wanted to give the town something really different. So when the premises came up, I thought, oh, what about a really cool European-style interior shop?
So what about all the stuff that you see in the shop? I mean, it must have been difficult getting all this such good quality stuff together.
Actually, it was quite difficult, but I'm really lucky. I have lots of contacts across the years, so I was able to tap into a few of my creative people and get some stuff.
And what about the decor of the shop? Is that you're doing as well?
It is. I want it really dark and opulent.
Yeah.
I wanted people to walk in and feel that they weren't in Portadown.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with Portadown, of course, but I wanted them to feel they were maybe in Europe or America or somewhere, that their minds can take them somewhere else.
And you actually get that feeling when you're coming up the street here. It really does stand out, the shop, doesn't it?
Well, I think that's really important. Presentation to me is the key, and that's what draws people in.
Yeah, now the first thing you notice when you come through the doors is this fabulous fountain behind us here. I mean, if only I had a back garden big enough to get this fountain in.
Robin, we can squeeze it in. Anything's possible.
So if I wanted to walk away away with this fountain today, obviously I need a huge lorry to take it away.
And a checkbook.
And a checkbook as well.
Yes.
I was going to say, would I need to remortgage the house to buy this?
Not at all, Robin. That could be yours for £5,000.
Really?
And you
Okay.
get a free bottle of champagne.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. So tell us about some of the other stuff we have here. We've got these lovely tables and chair sets as
Yes.
well. Loads of those in the shop, yeah.
Well, now everyone's backyard is now their indoor space.
Yes, yeah.
They all want a really posh outdoor space
Yeah.
as well. So the outdoor furniture is really important. The corner suites have sold really well for us. Lounge suites, where you can go outside with your glass of wine, your cappuccino, and just chill out. So that's why they're so popular.
So what's your house like? Since you've got this gorgeous, stunning shop here, have you got all this great gear in your house as well?
Can you just imagine that my house gets last? You know, it's all sold out the time I want it. So I have to make do.
What about future plans now? 2 shops open at the moment. What about any more?
I would love the idea of a coffee shop, Robin.
Right, yeah,
very much
yeah.
so. So I'm looking out for that.
Great stuff. And of course, if people want to check you guys out online as well, they can do that, can't they?
Absolutely, they can. They can check us out on outhausni.com.
And of course, you're on all the social media channels, Facebook,
Of course,
Instagram, and all that as well.
Facebook, Instagram also.
Well, do you know what? It's an absolutely amazing shop. Great to see so many people supporting you on day number 1 as well. So the very best of luck with it.
Thank you so much, Robin. Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay, next up a man who's become well known for his crime novels, in particular the Terror series. It's author James Murphy who joins us now. James, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Robin. Thanks for having me along today.
Thank you for coming along, and welcome to Portadown. Welcome to this fabulous shop. I see you were doing a bit of shopping there.
I was, and I'm thankful. My wife was going to come with me today, but our wee one ended up not so well, so she had to stay behind, and I've never been so glad.
There's a big fountain at the doorway on the way in there that I'm just trying to work out, could I possibly fit it in the back garden or not?
Well, I couldn't, personally, no, but here we go.
One of these would be great in the back garden as well, wouldn't it? One of these fire pit things.
I've been looking for something like this, but I dread to think. I'm not even, the price tag is literally just here, but I'm not going to look.
Well, if you reverse the car up when you're finished here, reverse it up the front door, we'll see what we can do for you. James, things seem to be really busy for you since the first time we had you on the show. Well, we're on book number 3 now.
Book number 4.
Oh, wow.
Well, book number 3 was released in November last year. And that finished off the Terror trilogy.
Yeah.
So I'm now on book number 4, which is a completely new project. Although now that the Terror trilogy's out, all the books are out there, it seems to be getting so much love that people are kind of saying to me, well, what about book 4 in the Farce Investigations?
Yeah.
Which
So is he coming back? Is he coming back?
Terror, no.
Okay.
He's not.
Farce Investigations.
But Farce Investigations. We had a little bit of a cliffhanger involving whether or not Farce Investigations would come back. It will, in some form or another. I'm not quite sure what yet, but certainly the new book was intended as a standalone, but actually links quite well into the whole Farce kind of universe, if you like. So there's the possibility of maybe linking the two, or certainly some crossover between the two at some point.
Tell us the story about the Farce Investigations, where the actual detective agency is set, because it's an interesting story based around that. It's based on your old school, isn't it?
It is. It's my primary school back in West Belfast, which I obviously I attended, but I used to, when visiting family, drive past it very frequently, and the building had gone into disrepair, and it's a beautiful old building, and it was a shame just to see, that decay in it. And it was round about the time where I was starting to get the idea for the Terror story, and actually starting to write the first novel, and I thought that would be a fantastic location. So I decided to set it there, and it was literally just like trial and error. The first murder I'd written took place there, and then the whole kind of mythology around it seemed to grow, and I had a kind of a paranormal element within the book. And unbeknownst to me, that the very place that I had chosen as my central location was actually known in paranormal circles as the most haunted building in Ireland. So it was nice that they had that tie-in as well. And actually quite recently, well, certainly about a year ago or more anyway, I was able to go back and visit the school. It's about to be kind of refurbished and extended and so on. So before the builders came in, I accompanied a paranormal group on a tour around the school, which was frightful in the correct sense of the term.
And did things happen? Did scary things happen?
Yes, I did. The team were obviously they're doing what they do and they call out and all that sort of stuff, which I'd asked them not to because their actual investigation wasn't starting until later. I was just there to take a few photographs and all that sort of stuff for, building the I suppose some of the story around the book. So yes, we walked through it. I was taking snaps as we went, 2 of which later proved to have images on them.
Right.
One of which was authenticated, and the other turns out to be a trick of the light. But as I was walking along one particular corridor, I'm a teacher as well, as you know. So I'd literally just come to the place from work. I was still wearing my work jacket and so on. And as I walked along this particular corridor, I felt my sleeves being tugged. And the jacket, the back flap of the jacket being tugged, actually quite hard, quite...
Right.
And I thought, I'm not saying anything. So I just kept walking, got to the end of the corridor, and the girl from the paranormal team who was with me said, did you get anything there? And I was like, well, should I have?
Yeah.
And then I told her, and she said, well, actually, this is one of the most lively, areas of the school, and they've heard children's voices there.
All right.
And apparently there used to be something to do with nuns taking care of children within the school.
Right.
And again, later I found out that there were stories of children who had not passed, if you believe in that kind of stuff, being around the school, and anyone who they felt was kind of like a teacher type figure, well, what better than obviously me walking in the door? They tended to kind of latch on to, in my case, quite literally.
Wow.
So in the terror books, as you know, one of my characters is a psychic medium.
Yes, yeah.
And that was loosely based on a friend who actually got the book started.
Right, yeah.
And I spoke to him afterwards, and he said, yeah, you were in the presence of some very dark forces that day.
Wow.
So I haven't been back since.
No, exactly. Taking you back to your school days, were you one of these kids who was always coming up with great ideas for stories? Were you storytelling, story writing back then as well?
Not in school days. I was always good at English at school. And it was something that was always encouraged, and reading was always encouraged at home. So I wasn't really a big writer, but I was a big reader.
Right, yes.
And that's something I'm trying to instill in my own daughter now. When I got to university years, I started dabbling in kind of screenplay writing and all that, because it was the thing to do. It was on trend then, many years ago. And then it stopped, so I wasn't doing any writing.
Yeah.
All the reading I was doing was crime, and actually probably one particular very popular author. And then one day my wife said to me, and I think I've told you this before, I was reading a particular book, and I thought, these are getting so formulaic, there's no point anymore, I could do better. And she said, well, away you go then.
Yeah.
So that's where the writing started again.
So you're on book number 4 now. You're part of this kind of community now of crime writers here in Northern Ireland. There seems to be a lot of you guys popping up these days.
Absolutely. There are loads of us, and it really is a community. Everyone is great for each other. We all plug each other's work, we support each other's work, go to each other's events and all that sort of stuff. In fact, as you know, I recently started a podcast.
I was just going to ask, because again, that's been getting lots of business as well, hasn't it?
It has. It was literally, for me, it was something that I was thinking about during lockdown. And I approached the Arts Council, and they really very kindly agreed to fund it, because up until then I'd been actually teaching crime fiction classes to emerging and aspiring crime writers. So obviously with lockdown I couldn't do that anymore, and I knew that there was an audience for it. So we first of all took the classes online, which was fantastic, but after a while I think Zoom fatigue set in for everyone. So next logical step was the podcast. The Arts Council, as I say, funded it, and because I knew that there is such a big local crime fiction writing community that I was part of and that I could tap into, I thought what better way of encouraging new writers along, but also giving a bit of a platform to our fantastic local writers as well. So we started that. It was a huge success. I mean, I was getting emails, bizarrely, from Apple Podcast telling me that we were like, you know, topping their charts in our category, and I was thinking, really, me? Yeah. This is so amateur. But it worked, and then obviously Radio Ulster took us on, and they did a review, a very favourable review, I have to say, on the ticket. And it just grew and grew. So, you know, it's now we have not just local crime writers, but last week I was interviewing a police crime writing advisor. Right. So I was learning about interview techniques and all that sort of stuff from him. And along my writing journey, I've been very lucky to become quite good friends with one of the top literary agents in London. Right. So I was able then to have him on as a guest as well. So there's so much to learn from it, and it's. I think the format, as I say, is quite basic. It literally is just me chatting the way we are now with these people over Zoom. You know, there's no high tech, anything like that. But it's working, and that's
so if people want to check it out, what's it called?
It's called A Life of Crime Writing with James Murphy. Okay. I'm going to put you on the spot now because I'm coming towards the end of your third terror novel. I'm going to ask you to suggest from one of your crime writing friends what I should be reading next. Who should I be reading? What book should I be reading next? Oh, that's a difficult one. Oh, there's so many. I think probably if you like crime series, which I know you do, there is an author called Kelly Crichton who you may have heard of.
Yes.
She is the East Belfast equivalent to my West Belfast Mark Shaw. So very strong female lead character. She's book 2, I think, has been released, and book 3 is about to be, and that's a fantastic series. But obviously buy mine first. But you know.
Of course, definitely, yes, right. I'm going to check that out. When's book number 4 out?
Book number 4, hopefully towards the end of the year.
Okay, we look forward to that. As always, James, good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.